Who's missing? Oh, Councilmember Wahab is missing.
Yeah, Councilmember Wahab.
We send her a message. Council members to the interview room, and that is where we are going to hold interviews. Okay.
Rick, could you bring me a glass of ice water? Okay. I mean, you know, when you can.
All right, Mayor, I was informed that we were ready to live stream. So I'm going to start just going to double click, make sure. Okay, very good. So when you hear the announcement, we are now recording. You could go ahead and start by welcoming everyone. All right, so here we go. 1, 2, 3. Let's start.
Recording in progress.
Okay. Hello, everyone. Welcome to this somewhat special meeting of the Hayward City Council this evening. I'm going to go ahead and call this meeting to order. And I will lead you in the Pledge of Allegiance, and we can see the flag there behind our city clerk. So if you'll join me. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. So before we go into the next item, which is public comments, I just want to announce that...
Mayor Halliday, my apologies. Would you like me to do roll call?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Sorry. Roll call. Yes. Thank you. Go ahead and do that.
That's fine. Good evening. Councilmember Andrews.
Present.
Councilmember Lamnin.
Present.
Councilmember Marquez.
Present.
Councilmember Salinas.
Present.
Councilmember Wahab.
Here.
Councilmember Cermeño. Understand he's absent this evening. Mayor Halliday.
Here.
Thank you.
So now I will just go ahead and announce that we will be moving item number 6, which is a item regarding a city council referral from 3 of our council members regarding action for Sophia Mason and other children at risk. We will move that up to follow item number 3 on our consent calendar before we go into our next item of business, which is going to be a little bit different. And that is city commission interviews. And I think the city clerk will explain more when we get to that. But right now, I would announce that we have public comments. I will open public comments. Do we have any? I'm not seeing any attendees for this meeting right now.
Yes, Mayor. So just wanted to clarify that this is a Zoom meeting. It's not a Zoom webinar. So when we have members of the public, I could see if they are wishing to join. And right now, I don't see anyone who wishes to be admitted into the meeting.
Okay. So this is their opportunity to comment if you're watching on any items that are not otherwise on our agenda this evening. Still seeing no one wishing to make such a comment, Madam City Clerk?
Correct.
Okay, so I'm going to go ahead and close public comments and we'll move into our action items, starting with our consent calendar this evening, and that would be items 1 through 3. Is there anyone who would like to pull one of those items off the agenda? Seeing no hands raised, I would entertain a motion on items 1 through 3.
So moved.
Second.
Okay, moved by Mayor Pro Tem Lamnin, seconded by Councilmember Salinas. On the motion, Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor. And this is for items 1 through 3. Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamnin.
Aye.
Councilmember Marquez.
Aye.
Councilmember Salinas.
Yes.
Councilmember Wahab.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño, absent. Mayor Halliday.
Yes, and the item passes with 6 aye votes and 1 member absent. Moving on, we will now go to item number 6, which is a referral to us from council members Andrews, Lamnin, and Marquez regarding action for Sophia Mason and other children at risk. So I'll go ahead and Councilmember Andrews, do you?
Yes, I'll start off. Thank you, Mayor. I want to first thank the family for just connecting with me regarding what's happening with this case. I also want to thank the East Bay Times for keeping this story at front and center. And then I want to thank my colleagues who help endorse this referral, Mayor Pro Tem Sarah Lamnin, as well as Councilmember Marquez. The purpose of this referral is to keep Sophia's memory alive, but also to make systemic changes in child welfare and safety. And we need to do more as a city to ensure that we're making these changes. One of the things that I have recognized in this case is that the cameras, they were here for the tears, they were here for the visual. Everyone was really, in the family's faces when this happened, and now people are losing sight on things that need to happen to resolve the case and to bring justice in her memory. So one thing that I would like to focus on is doing a third-party investigation. There have been some supervisors who've already called for that. I would like the city to send a letter in support of that. And this is to make systemic changes so this doesn't happen again. The second request would be to send a letter to our state representatives in support of Peaky's Law. Now, Peaky Law is SB 616, is focused on child welfare, also will reform the state judicial system to call out when there is domestic violence in the family, in particular in divorce or separation issues, but it will also help identify when there's a child welfare situation that needs to be identified, and it will provide additional training for the state as well as local authorities on what to do when they're running into these cases, and it will call for federal support. So I would request that we support this law. This law was in memory of Peaky. He was a 5-year-old boy who was murdered by his father during domestic violence issues out in Pasadena, and it's being championed by State Senator Rubio. This is the main reason why I wanted to bring this referral, and my colleagues signed on. One other thing that I would like to do as part of this referral is to request an increase in the reward to get more information about what happened with Sophia, if that is a possibility. Right now, the reward is $3,000, which is quite low considering what happened in this situation. And I request that we do a minimum of $170,000 through our federal government to find out what happened with Sophia. And I do recognize that this is something that has been adding on, but Brian Laundrie was a suspect in the Gabby Petito case, and that amount was the amount that was sought for in that case. So I would like to request the same amount if we can add that to the referral. So I will let my colleagues add on anything, and I'll give it back to you, Mayor, for you to discuss.
Okay, I just want to clarify the request. Number one is clear about requesting from the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. And the second one are state representatives. Are you referencing Assemblymember Quirk and Senator Wachowski there? And
yes.
When you say directed to the Department of Justice and U.S. Marshals, though, that would lead me to believe you're really talking about our federal representatives. So I'm a little confused about that. Could you clarify that?
Sure. So the state representatives right now, Peaky's Law is, it just passed the Assembly floor. I believe it's going to the state Senate next, and asking our U.S. representative who represents us, Congressman Eric Swalwell, I understand he is our federal representative, yes. To also demand that we have federal support in locating any suspects related to the case. If state representatives can also support us in requesting that from Congressman Swalwell, I would like to direct them to tag on to that request.
So Peaky's Law is a California?
Yes.
Yes. All right. So we would want to be sending the Department of Justice and U.S. Marshals, that would be sending a letter to our Congressman Eric Swalwell, and I would say our U.S. Senators, Feinstein and Padilla. And then increase, okay, so that is SB 616, though, that's California?
Yes. It's
then you would want also letters
yes.
to Assemblymember Quirk and Senator Wachowski. And that reward would come from the state government?
the state government, federal government, someone to increase this reward. Right now, the reward is at Merced PD, and it's at 3,000. And we have been asking questions on why that amount was selected, and I think it's just a matter of what they're able to allocate. But if we can get more, we believe that someone would probably come forward or give us some information in terms of locating suspects that are involved in the case.
So I would see that, and number two would actually, number one basically is a request to the Alameda County Board of Supervisors. So I think we would send that to our own representative, Supervisor Valle, and perhaps copy the county administrator, Ms. Marinishi. Number two, I would suggest we would want to send this letter not only to our federal representatives, but then also to our congressmen and our two state. Well, no, I'm sorry, they are our federal representative. To them and to Assemblymember Quirk and Senator Wachowski. Okay, I just wanted to be kind of clear on what this is calling for, but I think
clarifying, Mayor. Appreciate
okay. And what I would suggest is, often we'll do something like this and we'll have the letter drafted here by staff, and I will approve the letter and we will send it out, and that we will send copies to all of you. I think in this case, what I would recommend is that staff draft the letter as they usually do. I look at it, and then we send it out to you in draft form, to all of you as council in draft form, in case you would like to have any comments about, it, or would like, to see any changes before we actually send it. So that's what I would recommend in this case, if that's agreeable to you. Okay. All right. So Councilmember Wahab.
Thank you. Well, one, I just want to thank Councilmember Andrews for bringing this forward, as well as the rest of my colleagues. I fully support this. I just have a couple questions, just because I was a little, is SB 616, has it passed?
It hasn't. It's only hit the assembly floor. I believe our city attorney will have more information about the state of things, but the latest I've heard is only it passed the assembly.
Okay. And then part two, the money would, the 107,000 you said?
No, 170,000.
Okay, 170,000. That would come from the state, or would it come from the federal, or like where does the pot of money come from?
Right. So I will request, if we can afford to do it from the state, that would be great, but either federal or state, someone to up this reward, because the local PD can't afford to take on that reward.
Okay. Who provided I'm sorry, excuse me a minute, Councilmember Wahab, but that's a good question. Who provided the award in the other case that you referenced?
It was a law firm that provided the reward, but I do believe that the government can find the funds. Okay.
Sorry, Councilmember Wahab, go ahead again.
Definitely. And you said the current reward is $3,000, right?
Correct.
And is the reward in that city because that's where all the activity
correct
kind of finalized, if you will?
Yes. I know that Councilmember Marquez also reached out regarding this reward, so she might have more insight, but we did reach out to our own Hayward PD about the reward to see if we can layer it, and it was a matter of jurisdiction why we couldn't participate in it. So that's why I'm asking for escalated support, given that that's their max right now.
And what is our local?
Tell us. That's what they're telling us.
Can I chime in, Councilmember Andrews?
Yes.
Yeah.
Go ahead, Mayor.
If that's okay, Mayor.
Councilmember Wahab, was that?
No, and I have a couple more questions, but I just want to say, what is our local, like, what is the city of Hayward's amount?
I don't think that anything has been authorized from the city of Hayward for that.
But I'm sure we have a range that we normally go with in situations like this.
Do we have that, Madam City Manager?
I'm sorry, I was having an issue with my headphone. Can you repeat the question?
Councilmember Wahab is asking about the reward that is being discussed here, and whether the city of Hayward has an avenue for putting money up into such an award.
Usually,
so it's not even just, yeah. Sorry. So I'll just say it. So from the city of Hayward's perspective, if an incident like this were to take place, and granted, we know that it's in a different city for the time being, but do we have a reward amount that we normally traditionally go with that's a boilerplate amount?
I would have to talk with our police department about that. But usually the reward is offered by the department that is leading the investigation, which is why Merced has posted this initial award amount. So that's my understanding right now. I don't know what our sort of base reward in Hayward is when we're looking for suspects, but I can ask the chief about that.
Okay. And I do just want to highlight that I do support the request. The reason why is because, again, it is a child, and granted, I think we know this, and Councilmember Andrews and I have discussed this in the past. Children of color are often, ignored in the media as well. So the case that she referenced earlier with, the law firm putting in this money, it gained national attention, period, right? For weeks and months, if you will. So I think it's only right to do this, especially with young children and children that don't have an advocate. And we've all read the story, and I 100% support this. And I thank my colleagues for bringing this forward as well. And if we can kind of review the city of Hayward's number, and if we can make it where if it's regarding a minor, that number be increased.
All right. Thank you. Councilmember Marquez.
Thank you, Mayor. Just wanted to clarify one point. I did ask about why the amount was so low from Merced PD, and I was told by our PD staff here in Hayward that that's amount actually generated by Crime Stoppers, which is a nonprofit. So maybe we could circle back to this and figure out if there are ways to highlight this issue for our community so individuals can donate to that fund. But I also fully support Councilmember Andrews' request, and also flagging this to our state and federal representatives to support increasing funding to make this a more it's a very important issue. It should be given the same attention other cases have been. And quite frankly, if it wasn't for Councilmember Andrews, the family, and the reporter in East Bay Times, I don't know if we'd still be talking about this. So this referral is timely because we really have to look at all of the incidents that occurred with this young girl, Sophia, and find out what we could do to correct this from ever happening again to any young children in our community. So I just want to give my condolences to the family. I know her grandmother, aunts, and cousins all deeply loved her. I've seen numerous videos of her playing, and it's just a huge loss to our community. So I fully support this referral and thank Councilmember Andrews for leading these efforts, and Councilmember Lemon as well. I know the two of them have spent a significant amount of time meeting with the family and having a better understanding of what the issues are. Thank you.
All right. If there are no other council comments at this time, I'm going to open public comment on this item. And Madam City Clerk, are you aware? Do we have any? I don't see any attendees listed here. So, all right. So we don't have, okay. So I'll close public comment, and will entertain any other comments from council. I will certainly be supporting this referral. It's a very disturbing story. And I would like to see, perhaps we can, as the city of Hayward or as individuals, see if we can do a collection, and people I think would be willing to contribute to this, to the reward, but for capturing. Apparently, I don't know, this has been explicitly stated, but the person who is believed to have probably have committed the murder or very, very strongly connected. I understand the child's mother has been arrested, but the male suspect is at large and has not been able to be found. So that is who we're talking about in terms of finding and holding accountable for this terrible crime. Okay. So with that, if there are no other comments from council, thank you for bringing this referral. I'll ask, I think we need a motion, an official motion and second.
I would like to move the item, including the request for increase of a reward, to be $170,000. Okay.
Okay. But that is a request it's not a request for City of Hayward funds. It's right. A request for, okay.
And also the letter to be expanded to our federal representatives, correct?
Correct.
Okay.
That is my understanding of who that letter would go to.
Yes.
Yeah, the federal, right. Okay, federal representatives. Yes, thank you. Is there a second to the motion? Councilmember Marquez and Lamnon, would you both like to second it?
I'll defer to Mayor Pro Tem Lemon. She's working hard on this as well with the family. Thank you.
We can do the shared second.
All right. Well, all right. We'll take a second from Councilmember Lamnon and a co-second from Councilmember Marquez. And with that, Madam City Clerk, will you call the roll?
Yes, Madam Mayor. Councilmember Andrews.
Aye.
Councilmember Lamnon.
Aye.
Councilmember Marquez.
Aye.
Councilmember Salinas.
Yes.
Councilmember Wahab.
Yes.
Councilmember Cermeño absent. Mayor Halliday.
Yes, and the motion passes with 6 aye votes and 1 member absent. And so as I think I said earlier, we will have staff draft these letters. We will send them out to you before we send them rather than after, which is the usual practice. We'll send them out before we send them so you can, and give you a deadline for getting back with comments before we actually send them out. We'll try to do that all pretty quickly. I think that we can do that. Can't we, Madam City Manager? Okay. So thank you for bringing this forward. This is a terrible story about a child in our city who should still be alive. And I do thank you for bringing this to us.
Thank you, Mayor.
Okay, thank you. So now we will go back to item number 4, which is City Commission interviews. So we are going to be interviewing applicants for specifically this year, openings that we have on the Community Services Commission and the Personnel Commission, as well as the Keep Hayward Clean and Green Task Force. And so I'm going to turn this over to our city clerk, who will explain the process going forward right now.
Thank you, Madam Mayor. And yes, you're correct. This is item number 4 on the agenda. At this point, we are going to stop the live streaming because it pertains to the interviews that we are going to conduct. We are going to move into one of the breakout rooms. In that room, we are going to record the interviews, and they will be part of the record and available upon request. We are not going to upload it to the website, but it will be a record that we could reference as needed. So at this point, Mayor, I'm going to invite council members to join the breakout rooms. I'm going to assign each one of you. If you could please go ahead and assign. And to our IT and other support staff, thank you very much for your assistance. We could stop the live streaming now. Thank you.